Check that you have all of your patterns. Front top, back top, front facing, back facing, collar, inner front skirt, back skirt, front skirt, pocket. On the front top, sew up all the dots. Repeat for the back top. Sew the front top and back top panels together along the shoulder with a 1 cm seam allowance. On the collar, mark out the shoulder notch according to the paper pattern. Align an interfaced and non-interfaced collar panel together and sew along the outer edge with a 1 cm seam allowance. Trim away half of the seam allowance to reduce the bulk. Turn it inside out and iron well. Then edge stitch around the collar panel. Repeat for the other side. According to the paper pattern, mark out the collar notch along the back neckline and the sewing line along the front neckline. With the interfaced collar facing up, align the collar to the sewing line, shoulder notch to the shoulder seam, and the end of the collar to the collar notch. Sew the panels together with a 1 cm seam allowance. Avoid any accidental folds when sewing the collar to the neckline. Sew the front facing and back facing panels together along the shoulder with a 1 cm seam allowance. Following the paper pattern, mark out the notch along the back neckline and sewing line along the front neckline. Starting and ending at the marking, sew all panels together with a 1 cm seam allowance. Snip into the seam allowances to reduce any tension. Flip open the facing panels and understitch on the facing, making sure to catch onto the seam allowances below. Avoid sewing too near the start and ending point. Carefully tuck away the collar and align the facing and top panels along the armhole. Sew the panels together with a 1 cm seam allowance. Repeat on the other side. Grab a pair of scissors and snip into the seam allowances to reduce the tension. Turn it inside out. To turn it inside out, grab the end of the back panel, making sure it's narrower than the shoulder seam. Pass it through the tunnel and grab it from the other side. Gently pull to turn it inside out. And iron well. Do the same thing for the other side. On the front skirt panel, mark out the pocket notch along the side seam. Align the pocket just below the marking and sew along the side seam with a 1 cm seam allowance. Repeat for the back skirt panels. On the front skirt, fold the front seam by 1 cm and iron well. Then top stitch 0.8 cm from the folded edge. Along the waistline, mark out the midpoint, then sew 2 rows of gathering stitches. To prepare the front inner skirt, fold the hem by 1 cm and iron well. Then top stitch 0.8 cm from the folded edge. Mark out the midpoint and quarter points. Then gather the front skirt panel until it matches the width of half the waistline. Sew the panels together with a 1 cm seam allowance. Sew the front top to the front skirt panels with a 1 cm seam allowance. Gather the back skirt panel until it matches the width of the back top panel. Sew the panels together with a 1 cm seam allowance and repeat for the other side. Along the center back, push away the facing. Sew the zipper starting from the zip notch all the way down with a 1.5 cm seam allowance. Avoid sewing on the collar and facing. Once you're done, zip it up and check that the waistline should match up nicely. To finish up the center back, push away the collar, then flip down the facing. Continuing from where we left off previously, sew a line horizontally with a 1 cm seam allowance and vertically on the outside of the zip. Do not sew on the zip teeth. Once it's sewn together, check by turning it inside out and ensure that the zip works well. If all is good, turn it back and snip into the seam allowances to reduce the bulk. At the end of the zip, finish up the rest of the center back with a 1.5 cm seam allowance. At the side seam, flip up the facing panels. Starting from the very top, sew all the way down with a 1 cm seam allowance along the side seam. To finish up the skirt hem, fold it up by 1 cm and iron well. Then top stitch 0.8 cm from the folded edge. Finally, to lift the collar up, hand sew a set of hook and eye at the bottom of the back collar. And there you have it! Your dress is completed.